Okay. In today's class, I'm going to explain how to create the object in JavaScript by using of new keyword. In the previous class, I told you that how to create objects, how many ways are there. I told you that object literal, that is one way. How can we define a JavaScript object? One is the object literal way and new keyword, that is the next, and using object constructor. Okay, so all these classes are being conducted under my Lakshmi Narayan Krishna Foundation. Okay, thrice of a week, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, sharply at 8 p.m. in June. Okay, as per my promise, these classes all will be conducted until my last breath of life, especially to enhance the programming skills in students who are residing in rural areas and they are not able to connect with the local network centers, and also they are not able to afford the expensive classes. That's why these classes are being conducted, especially rural student. Doesn't mean anybody can connect to the classes. Okay. Already I have shared my link in so many platforms, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, WhatsApp groups. So I hope that these classes will be so useful to all of you, and I hope that you will be these classes. You can access these classes. Okay. So now in today's class, I want to explain how to define a JavaScript object by new keyword, because in the previous class I have used this object literal method. Okay, that moment I told you that object literal is nothing but a list of key value pairs will be kept inside of curly braces is called object literal. A list of key value pairs. In the previous class, already I have briefed all that. Okay, a list of key value pairs already I have briefed, that is called the object literal. Object literal is what? So an object literal is a list of name value pairs, means key value pairs. Okay. And inside curly braces. And also we have studied like this, what in these curly braces, key value pairs, they have been kept. This is the first is the key, and next will be the value. Both will be separated by the comma. And that is what column. So, and then after I have briefed that how to create a an object, empty object. Okay, create an empty object. This is what, create an empty object, empty JavaScript object. To that moment, only these braces will be kept. Then after, the properties will be added by dot operator. Okay, by using the object name. This is the object name, object dot property, and then value. Okay, that is the already we have discussed. Now using the new keyword in today's class, how to use the new keyword to create an object. So in JavaScript, we can use the new keyword to create the object, and then we can add properties. So this is the class. So here, constant keyword, generally constant. I told you that to create variables, how many ways are there? One is that var keyword, let keyword, constant keyword. I told you that var keyword, that is that was used for old browsers. That moment 2015, up to 2015 browsers, web browsers, var keyword was used to create variables. Then after let keyword implemented, then constant also. So let mostly used to create the variables whose value can be changed, can be modified. But constant keyword, that will be used only to those variables, their values are fixed. In further, their values can't be modified, can't be changed. So this is the syntax: constant keyword, then object name. It is object is nothing but it is a variable. I told you that it will be used to store many values. Okay, generally variable will be used to store single value, but here object will be used to store many values. So person is an object created is equal to new object. Okay, new keyword, then object word, parenthesis, and then this is what semicolon. Okay. Now your object is created with the name person. That is new. And constant keyword used means its values can be changed in further. So then after, what is the name of the object name person? So how can we add the properties person dot property name, first name, last name, age, and then is equal to value. This is the syntax we will practice. Okay. So generally, for readability, simplicity, and execution speed, if you want to get more speed of execution, this object literal method is better than new object method. Okay, so let us practice this code. Okay, here, this is the already, this is what we are looking for. This is the result. We are getting this content result. Okay, so for this is the total code here. As I told you that we need to declare the document type. This code, it indicates that HTML5 version and then HTML section, body section, header section, okay, subheading section, and paragraph. Within this paragraph section, this demo ID that is very compulsory. Okay, some students have asked only every time we need to keep demo, otherwise somewhat word we will practice. If I give here Vasu, then what happens? No issue. If I want to change here Vasu here, the same Vasu word ID attribute has this value. Now here I need to pass Vasu. There is no issue. Okay, same as it is. Now run this, you are getting. There is no any problem. Okay. Whatever the value you will assign to this ID attribute, the same value we need to pass here. Okay, by that ID value, this method get element by ID method. This is the mostly used HTML JavaScript HTML method will be used to find the HTML element, and by this inner HTML property, the value of the content of that HTML element, the content of this is the content that will be displayed on the screen in the web page. Okay, but that is to be written inside of the that object creation and properties. This is the object creation. Object name is person. Constant keyword used here. Why? Because this object person object values means properties can be changed further. And as I told you, the new keyword user and object name, that is what object as it is. This is the syntax we have studied. So now these are the properties. Okay. So now the total JavaScript code that is kept inside of the script element. Script element has two tags, start tag, end tag. So this is the story. We will practice this total code. Okay. This is the total code I need to practice here. Okay. So let us see what happened here. Let us see how the code will be. We need to delete the total code first. You delete the total code. Now code window is empty. As I told you, this is what code editor, online web code editor. So you need not to install like your code blacks. That is for what? Sorry, no need here. This is what you know. This is online web editor. So whenever you write the code, you need not to download any. That is what you know, web browser. Okay, because no need to install any IDE because your web browser will read whatever the code you write. Okay. Your web browser will read that code. Generally, we will use Notepad, and within that the code, whatever we will write, that will be read by your web browser. Understood that? So here, let us see what happened here. First of all, I want to write the code, exclamation mark, doc type, then HTML. It indicates that this is the HTML code written for HTML5 version, and it indicates that this is the HTML. Next, once HTML element start with start tag, we need to close with end tag. Okay, next, under this body section has body tag, start tag, body element has start tag, and close with body end tag, body end tag. Now here, whatever the code we will write here, that will be read by web browser, and that code will be executed and will be displayed on the screen. Okay. So first of all, this is the header section. I need to write a header section here under the H1. Okay. And then after that is to be closed with the end tag. Okay. Now inside of this, whatever the content under this header element, in between these two tags, start tag, end tag, whatever the code we will write here, whatever the content, creating Java, that will be displayed on the screen. Okay. JavaScript objects. Okay. No issue. Now come to the point next. This is the subheading. So this is the subheading. For the subheading, you need to write one more element subheading header to element, and it is to be closed with the h2 end tag. Now inside of this, whatever the content you will write, that will be stored, that will be written, that will be displayed on the screen. So using the new keyword, this is the topic, using the new keyword. Okay, is creating JavaScript object using the new keyword. So this is the second subheading. If you write this, you will get these two. You are getting these two, heading and subheading. So then after, content to be displayed, HTML content to be displayed on the screen. For that, I told you that what next. First of all, what we need to create under the script. Under the script where the HTML content will be displayed by whom? That method, get element by ID, that is the mostly used HTML JavaScript method. So that method has a property, that is dot inner HTML. By that property, okay, the content of the HTML element will be displayed. Okay, so let us, as I told you that method name is what? Element. Get element by ID. Okay, method always will be suffixed with the brackets, parentheses. So this is the method. So method, then what? This method has an attribute, that is what? Inner HTML method. Okay, that method, whatever the content we will assign for this inner HTML property, that will be displayed here. Okay, but try to understand here. I told you that always this method use some ID. That ID we need to mention here. So ID, whatever the ID you write inside of this. Suppose if you keep ID as Vasu, okay, okay. So that is the ID you have mentioned here. In double quotation mark, single quotation mark doesn't mean it is an ID Vasu. Now you need to keep that ID inside of this paragraph section. inside of this paragraph section, the paragraph section has an element that is paragraph start tag. Now it is to be end with end tag. Now inside of this paragraph start tag, ID is equal to that ID. ID is equal to, we need to this by this ID. That is what you have given all capital letters. So we need to mention here. Now here what happened? This is the code written here. Understood that. What do you mean of this? This ID attribute has so this ID attribute. Okay, so here we need to pass the values, properties, okay, with the content of HTML element which is to be displayed on the screen. But before that, we need to create the object. So class is what? Class is what? Creation of the object. Creation of the object with new keyword. Creation of the object with the new keyword. Okay. So now creation of the object with new keyword. So what I told you that this whenever this method we are using get element by ID method, we need to keep it in. I told you that in scripts. Okay. Script means JavaScript. Script. This is script. So script. This is the script block, script start tag. So once script start tag is there, so we need to keep script end tag. And this is the script end tag. So inside of this, the method I have written, that is what document, that is part of your document. Okay, what is the document? I told you that this is the HTML document. So that's why this method always we need to we need to write the part of this document dot operator. Then this element E and by B and I, that is to be kept capital. We will discuss later. First, let me create the object. So object rule is that object to be created with the constant keyword, then object name, person, any object name, one object. Then after is equal to new keyword, then object, and then bracket, so parenthesis. This is the syntax to write the object by new keyword. Okay. Before that, we have studied Word. We have studied how to create the object with the object literal method. Object literal is that we want to create the object with means values, key value pairs will be kept inside of the curly braces. That was the previous class. So now with the new objects, okay, then properties, how to add the properties mentioned here, adding of properties to whom? Properties to objects. Okay, now what? So adding of properties to object, how can we adding of properties to object? So first of all, I need to use that object name person dot any. Okay, first name, okay, is equal to, what is that? First name is what? Any, suppose first name, you can keep, suppose Vasu is first name, okay? And close with semicolon. Next, one more property person dot last name, that is equal keep a string Miriam. Okay. So now what happened here? Two properties I have declared and assigned the values. Okay. How that moment I have used the object name dot operator means dot operator means this property is part of this object person. Okay. Two properties I have declared here. So now once object is created and its properties are created, now I can call them, okay, as a content in inside of this inner HTML method. Inner HTML method. So how can I call them? Like what person dot first name. Okay. So terminate with semicolon. Now what happens? See here, the total. See what happened here. Inside of this script, start tag and end tag, the code, whatever we have written, that is called JavaScript code. Okay, always JavaScript code we need to write inside of the scripts. Script start tag, script end tag. Okay, so this is what HTML code. If I use CSS, cascading style sheets, so that is to be kept inside of cascading style sheets. Okay, so the HTML code, HTML page that will be having cascading style sheet code separately. JavaScript code will be separately inside of these scripts. Okay. So now if you run this code, we are not getting anything. So this is to be displayed. Na? Why? Because why it is not displayed? That is the reason. I told you that this get element that is one by one, we need to check that. It is to be kept capital by kept capital and ID kept capital. So actually, this is the method. Generally, I have written small case. That's why I want to show you that whether the code will be executed. Still, your code is not executed. So we need to check back that where is the error. That is very important. We need to understand. We need to find out that where the error we have done. That is very important. Otherwise, no, it is very because if you mug up the code and if you write the code as it is, if you mug up the code and write as it is, so that is not okay. Mug upping the code, no. You need to check back each and every up to here. The code is being displayed. Subheading, heading. So the content of the HTML, I told you that we need to use get element by ID method inside of this ID value, whatever we have passed to this ID attribute. By that, this HTML element and inside of this inner HTML property, whatever the content is here, person dot first name is was this is to be displayed on the screen. Okay, in the web page. So we need to check back that what is where is the error. That is very important. See, whenever you are creating the object, no, that is what we need to keep capital letter here. Okay. So that may be one reason. So that is the error here. While the object name that is to be first this word object. Okay. This is the object name actually. Person is the object name. But syntax in the syntax after new keyword, we need to write the object with the starting O is the capital letter. So you are getting this result. Okay. Now so I that question doubt you have asked some students, sir. This ID always we need to keep demo here. Generally, we will use the demo keyword here, na demo. So once you have given the demo there, okay, demo. So no issue. So demo, whatever the keyword you mentioned here in the ID attribute. Okay, that is what I have given capital letter also no issue. Whatever you have mentioned there, that is to be displayed that is to be used in this method. One is the doubt clear, and then now next is what some questions you have written. So this is what, suppose if you have uh, you have written this inside of the here. Suppose, so what happened? So now you have written this ID inside of this as this content heading, header content, subheader content. You have written in between this start tag, end tag. So it will be called as it will be shown as on the display as a content. If whenever you run this, you will get ID is equal to us because it is a content. Okay, don't write. You need to write this inside of the start tag. Okay, understood that you need to write this inside of the start tag. This is the from here to here. This is start tag. This is close tag. So now this attribute ID is equal to also inside of the start tag you need to mention. So same if you give even though space no. So there is difference between this string value and this string value. Here there is no any space. Here you have given the space. Now you will not get the result because you have given the space here. So you need to give one space. Then your code will be executed. That is very important. Keep. Okay. Next, somewhat generally, what the mistakes this after this semicolon that is very important for every statement, and then this is the dot operator after get element by id. These I told you that this letter if you keep element small you will not get the result. Okay, because that method will be identified. That is the method of javascript html method. So that was the method. Always you need to call this method like this. Okay, here element must be started with capital letter. By the b must be, if you keep here small b, and the method can't be, so you are getting nothing, your nothing is being displayed here. So that is very important here. That is what you need to keep capital letter. So you are getting the result. Okay, was. So then after, if you want to call this attribute also, so before this, if you want to see somewhat string here, so that moment you need to do what string, you need to keep first name, is equal to, this is the string. Then after concatenation. So what do you mean of this? Dot inner HTML is equal, this is the string. String which is mentioned in double quotation marks, that will be concatenated. Plus means plus symbol means concatenation, adding up another string. So first name, this is the Vasu. This property holds what? First name, that is the property of this person object. So this the value assigned that will be displayed with the string. Okay, first name is equal to Vasu. So if I want to get this, I want to add this also. Otherwise, I want to write your name is. I want to write like your name is Vasu. Okay. So and if I want to write some words, this last name also I want to add. This last name also I want to add. Here I need to keep plus. Okay. Concatenation, fill string. String is what? Your surname is. Okay. Again, concatenation. So here person dot last name. Okay. Now you run this code. Your name is Vasu and your surname is Miriam. So, but both are what? Mingled, mixed. But I want to get a break here, line break. So here you need to keep, that is what? BR. BR is what? Line break. So you will get this is what? Your surname is Miriam. So your name is Vasu, your surname is Miriam. So this is the content that is being displayed on the screen. This content is where that is part of your inner HTML property. So this method get element by ID method, that is the mostly used HTML JavaScript method, which will be used to access the HTML element. That element having this content. That content will be displayed on the screen. This content will be filled inside of this ID. Okay. And that will be displayed. It will be find. It will be find. The content will be find and stored here, and inside of this paragraph section that will be displayed. Understood that this is the paragraph section. So now if you want to style this code, if you want to style this code, a background color, somewhat, so that is part of your CSS. Let us practice. Okay. So now, as I told you that the JavaScript code we have written inside of this script start tag and end tag, like that, we can write down this web page style. If you want to change this web page style as background color somewhat, so we need to write the code under the style start tag style. This is inside of this, whatever the code we will write, that is part of your style. Means you want to style this page. You want to style this page. How do you want to? So first of all, you write body. First of all, we need to write the body. Okay. Body in flower braces. We need to style body. Body what? What the total body? Okay, total body color. If you want to write body color, body color, body hyphen color is equal to, if you want to write in double quotation marks, light blue. Okay. Now what do you mean of this code? So under this under the style element, the code whatever we write, that will style the web page. Okay. This is the, now what happens, see, body color I have written, but it is not being executed. So let us see what is the issue. So the syntax is what? This is background color. Okay. Background. Background color light blue. There is no any space. So style, if you want to use some word style, that is to be written where? Okay. Whether it is to be written inside of the body, inside of the body section, a head section, we need to check back that. Don't use this is equal to keep colon, simple colon. Still, okay. See, if I want to style the web page, if I want to give the background color as blue color, so under the style section, okay, under the style section, this is the style start tag, style end tag. Under this, whatever the code we will write, that is part of your CSS, cascading style sheet. Cascading style sheet. Okay. Now body background color. So background color light blue. If I want to change this as blue, simply you write blue color. Now run this code, you will get blue color. If you want to keep any yellow color here, yellow. Okay, now yellow color. So this is what one pair of values. Pair of this is the key. Okay, key is what background color and value will be whatever the value you want to give. Both need to be separated with the colon and the statement to be terminated with semicolon. Now, this is to be written inside of the body. Body is what you know. Body is a section. Okay, means this total body of this web page. Now, if I want to everything that is to be written inside of the style element. Style element has one start tag, style close tag, end tag. Now, if I want to write the code for this is what header section. So you need to write the code like what you know H1. Okay, and then inside of the flower braces, that is very important. Now this is what. So now I want to write the style for header section. The inside of this, what is that color? Suppose color. Color is what? Suppose white, semicolon. So now header section color will be what? White. You run this code. You are looking header section is what? White color. So, but if you are not able to see, change this color as what? Suppose light blue. Okay. Now run this code. Now, if you are able to see this code very well, no? Because of the background is looking very well. But if you want to change this header section color as yellow, you write here yellow. Okay. Okay, you are looking like this. So now if you want to keep it center what? So here for under this header section, you need to write align font align. Font hyphen align is equal to center. Okay, now run this code, but you're not getting center. This content you're not able to see as center. So means in this code you have written any error. So you need to check back. The syntax is very important. The syntax is here. I want to keep this header center aligned. So this is what text align. That is very important. Text align. Now run this code. Okay. Text align center. So why this is the error? Here, this is column. We need to keep here column. That is very important. Now run this code. Now it is center. Okay. So like that. So this is called selector. H1 now under the style. Okay. Under this style. So the body selector. This is the body selector for total whole body. This is selector for H1 section. H1, this is the header section. Okay. Then if I want to keep style for one more, that is what P1. By P1 selector, I can style the P1. This P1 is indicating what? P1 indicate. This is the selector for this one. P1 section. Where is your P1 section? This is what, okay. So color yellow, H1 cell by H1 selector, I can style this one. That is what your uh, header, okay. So header color is yellow and it is centered. So by this P1 selector, I want to style this one. Okay, P1. So here font size, font size colon 20 pixels, 25 pixels, 25 pixels. So font Vardhana. Vardhana is what? Vardhana font. Okay. So font size. Its font size is what? How much of pixel? I have mentioned here. And font style, Vardhana. Okay. Yeah. Font hyphen family. Hyphen family. So it is very simple syntax. You need to just remember them and you run this code. Okay. To remove this one because our selector P means paragraph. This is never be called as P1. Okay. So now what happened? You have given the pixel size is what you know. Pixel size 25 pixels. So pixel you have given lot of size. If you want to change this as 15 pixels, now your size will be changed like this. And if you want to color the paragraph color, font color, font color, okay, column. Now which type of you want to give red? Okay, the font color turned font. What happens? Now I want to change this color, font color. So no need to write font here, just keep color. So your color will be changed to font color red. Okay. So this PH1 and these are called what? Selectors. H1 is a selector which will be used to select this header and these by these properties yellow center this header will be selected and colored styled as you have written code yellow, okay, centered. Okay, now by this P selector, P means what? Paragraph section. This is the paragraph section. This section will be selected and they will be styled. This section will be styled with what? Red color. Okay, pixel size. So if you want to change, if you change this as 50 pixels, okay, so 0.5 pixels, it's very small text you will be able to see. If you change the pixels to what? 50 pixels. So you will see the P section like this. So it is looking so odd. So right, just 10 pixels. Okay, small. Okay. So if you want to change like color, P color red, if you want to keep somewhat extra color, okay, whatever the right color you want to write, that is okay. Next, what about this? If you want to style this one, this is what your H1. H1 means this is what H2 section. H2 means subheader section subheader section. Okay, under the subheader section, whatever the code you have written, same you copy here, you copy and you keep inside of this paste. So color, what yellow you run this code, same you are looking this using this is what your so header second subheading section. Okay. If you want to change this color somewhat like blue, okay, run this blue. Okay. So this is like what you know, you can style this. If you want to change the background color like not light blue, if you want to keep somewhat totally red color. Okay. You run this, you are looking this. So like this, the web page can be see in this total HTML document, the code written for what? Some HTML code you have written from where? HTML code from here. The code written inside of this style tag. Okay. Under body, this is the body selector to style the body of background color. This is the H1 selector to style your header. Okay, this is the H2 selector to select this second subheading heading subheading, okay, and to style with these properties. This P selector will, but where are your, that is what you know, your paragraph. This is also red background. You have given the background red and your paragraph P selector also red. That's why you are not able to see them. Okay. You simply write white. Okay. Now, so this is what you know. Under the style section, so under the style section and style tag, start tag, whatever the code I have written up to here, up to end of style tag. This is called CSS code, cascading style sheets. Okay. And that is written inside of head element. Head is closed. Now body start. So under this body element, so the HTML code written for to see the header content on the screen, subheading content on the screen, and this ID used for JavaScript code here. So three in this total HTML page, cascading style sheet code written under this from here to here. Cascading style CSS code to style your web page. And then after, under this body section, HTML code written for this heading, subheading, okay. And under the script, code written for JavaScript code written by that how the web page will behave. So, okay, understood that. So this is the class, today's class. I have totally today I want to give somewhat idea how to develop the web page, styling of the web page, okay, JavaScript code that is written inside of the scripts, okay, and HTML code written inside of the body section, okay. So like that. So thank you. Have a nice day. The code I have written today's class. Okay, it is almost a that is 9:40. So the class it is closed now. Jai Hind.